Hello, LIBA301 students. I wanted to take some time to go over briefly, just a few minutes, the annotated bibliography assignment in detail. And this is what I was going to cover in class today. This should be enough of an overview to get you to the point where you can do this annotated bibliography assignment with no trouble. And if you do have some issues, trouble, confusion, you can always set up an appointment to meet with me and I can go over some more of this in detail. So basically, you already created your 7 sources, you created your references page or your works cited page if it's MLA, or your bibliography page if it's Chicago style. And what you're going to do now is you're going to add to that, for each of the 7 entries, an annotated summary. Okay? So just kind of go over here the definition of what is an annotated bibliography. It's annotated bibliography is a list of citations to books, articles, and documents one is used for researching a topic. Each citation is followed by a brief, usually about 150 words, and that's what I want you to stick to for this one. I want you to try to maintain around 150 words and to be uniform with that for each of the 7. And so make sure that you do a word count with these, because I will grade based on word count, and it should be right around that 150 words. Too little will deduct points, too many will deduct points as well. So shoot for around that 150. I'm not going to be, counting exactly, and if it doesn't get the exact 150 words, I'll deduct. But if you have 100 words or if you have 200 words, there will be point deductions for that. Okay. The purpose of the annotation is to inform the reader of the relevance, accuracy, and quality of the sources cited. And I'll go into more detail on the next couple of slides. So these are the 3 components I want you to really think about in terms of the annotation piece. Again, this is your 150 word component of the annotation summary. It should summarize, assess, and reflect. Okay? And one of the main components of this, and why I think it's very important for your topic and your topic selection and keeping your research associated with your topic, is a way to assess that is this annotated bibliography. So one of the things you're going to do as I go through these 3 components, I'll make reference to how it ties to your research and your topic selection, your thesis statement, and how all these sources should be directly related to your topic. So the first one, summarize. Length of your annotations will determine how detailed your summary is. Of course, it's 150 words. So you're going to answer questions such as, what are the main arguments? What is the point of this book or article? What topics are covered? And if someone asks you, what this article or book is about, what would you say? Again, keeping this in your own words. Okay, that's really important here. Summarize in your own words. And if you focus on these questions that are posed here, you'll be in really good shape in terms of the summary. Okay. The next thing is to assess. After summarizing a source, it would be helpful to evaluate it. Is it a useful source? How does it compare with other sources in your bibliography? Is the information reliable? Is the source biased or objective? What is the goal of the source? So these are questions you can begin to answer. Is it a useful source? Is it useful for your research? Okay. How does it compare with the other sources in your bibliography? Maybe a couple of your other sources did some empirical research, and the findings were very similar in those other 2 sources. But this one, maybe they did something not empirical and the findings were completely different. So how does that compare with your sources, the other 2 sources reference? Is the information reliable? Is it a reliable source or isn't it? And we went over some of that earlier in the course, and determine reliability of sources. And I know you've had this in other classes as well. Is the source biased? Is it objective? What is the goal? So that's the assessment piece of it. So summarize, assess, and then reflect. So once you've summarized and assessed, the source, you need to ask how it fits into your research. Was this source helpful to you? How does it help you shape your argument? So again, this is tying it directly to your topic and your thesis. Your thesis is your argument. How does that source help you shape your argument? Maybe it's a source that directly aligns with your thesis statement and your argument on your topic. Okay. Maybe it's not, but state that here. How can you use this source in your research project? Has it changed how you think about your topic? How might it be useful to your main thesis statement? Okay. So again, those are the three components. In 150 words, you need to kind of include summarize, assess, and reflect. Okay. So the last thing I want to just go over briefly here is the layout of the annotated bibliography entry. And I'd like for you all to, of course, you're going to be citing. So the citation piece, which is the main, this top component here, is going to be in your particular style. I know the majority of you are APA style, so your sources as they're cited here will be in APA style. If your major is an APA related major. If it's an MLA related major, this component will be in MLA style. If your major requires you to use Chicago style, then this would be cited in the Chicago style. And what would be at the top of this page, of course, if it's APA, would be references. If it's MLA, it would be works cited, and if it's Chicago, it would be bibliography. Okay. So you'll note this, you're using the hanging indent format where the first line is fully left aligned. The second and subsequent lines are indented that 0.5 inch. Then you'll notice this is the annotation summary, the start of that. This is the start of your 150 words annotated summary. Make sure that you align this with the second and subsequent lines of your citation. So it's not you don't indent the first part 5, it's flush. The very first line, it would be in paragraph style minus the indentation for the first line here. Okay. And that's it. So that's kind of my, my brief overview of the layout of the annotated bibliography. How I want you to focus your annotation summaries related to your topic and to keep those three components, summarize, assess, and reflect, at the forefront when you're writing these annotation summaries. 150 words, summarize, assess, reflect. Annotation summaries, 150 words, summarize, assess, reflect. Okay? That's all I have. Have a good day. I hope you are all well. Take care.